Welcome back to my YouTube channel. History, mystery, and mind-blowing value meet in the world of rare coins, and today we're diving deep into a fascinating and jaw-dropping story of a coin so unassuming in appearance yet so extraordinary in value that it has shaken the entire numismatic world. Yes, we're talking about the 1994 1-cent coin, a humble penny that, due to a combination of minting errors, overlooked anomalies, and nearly impossible mistakes, has reached a staggering estimated value of $314 million and is considered one of the most valuable and enigmatic coins ever discovered. So buckle up as we journey through every hidden corner and twist of fate that led to this coin becoming a legend, starting from the very moment it was struck at the United States Mint, where routine procedures somehow resulted in one of the most spectacular blunders in coinage history. For starters, the coin was minted during a year when the U.S. Mint was transitioning technologies and undergoing equipment recalibration at multiple facilities, especially in Philadelphia and Denver, and during that turbulent phase, multiple die pairs were reused, modified, and even improperly annealed, leading to a host of rare minting anomalies. And one of the first things collectors noticed about the now famous 1994 1 cent is its unusual copper composition, which deviates from the standard zinc core with copper plating that had been the norm since 1982, as this particular coin underwent metallurgical testing and was found to consist of nearly 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, matching the pre-1982 bronze composition and thus raising eyebrows because no such planchets were officially documented to be used in 1994, suggesting either a leftover bronze blank from the pre-1982 era found its way into production lines or a rogue error in metal blank preparation occurred. Either way, it rendered the coin chemically unique and immediately desirable. But that was just the beginning. Because under closer inspection numismatists realized that the 1994 1 cent featured a double die obverse, most noticeable in the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," where a clear shadowing and overlapping of letters is visible under 10x magnification, and even more pronounced under advanced imaging technology, confirming an unreported double strike from a misaligned die. An error that is already rare but when combined with the other abnormalities, begins to elevate the coin into mythical status. And not only is the doubling clear, but the die clash also shows signs of pressure inconsistencies, possibly the result of a die shift during an interrupted production cycle, meaning that this coin likely came from a very limited run before the issue was corrected, which is why only one known specimen of this type has surfaced to date, making it effectively one of a kind. And this singularity adds exponential value, yet that's still not all, because upon examining the reverse of the coin, experts noticed another bizarre feature: an off-center Lincoln Memorial, shifted approximately 15% to the right, but with a full rim still intact, which implies that the blank was only slightly misfed into the striking chamber, again compounding the number of minting anomalies in a single specimen. And what's more baffling is that this coin also features a minor clipped planchet at the bottom edge. Not enough to deform the coin but just enough to be visible, a curved planchet clip, which typically happens when the blanking machine punches metal too close to a previously punched hole, suggesting that the metal sheet used for this coin may have been irregular or improperly fed, which again is extremely rare. And when you compile these errors, wrong composition, double die obverse, die clash, off-center strike, and clipped planchet, all in a single coin, you start to realize why this 1994 penny is far from ordinary and why it sparked an all-out frenzy among high-end collectors and auction houses, who regard it as a perfect storm of minting errors and a textbook case of compounded rarity. But the intrigue doesn't end there, because once word spread of this discovery, researchers began to investigate the minting records and noticed some odd gaps in the documentation from the Philadelphia Mint that year, with several rolls of coins reportedly removed from production without public explanation and internal quality control logs marked with unexplained anomalies during Q1 of 1994, which further feeds the theory that this coin wasn't just an accident. It might have been a hidden gem overlooked during an attempt to correct a series of internal mechanical failures, and theories abound about how this coin escaped into circulation in the first place, with some suggesting that it may have been part of a test batch or even deliberately released by a mint employee who recognized its value, while others argue that the coin ended up in circulation purely by chance after being misidentified during the inspection phase. Either way, It passed unnoticed for decades until it surfaced in a collection purchased at an estate sale in rural Ohio, where the coin was buried among thousands of ordinary pennies until a seasoned numismatist spotted the unusual luster and strike characteristics, triggering further analysis and authentication by top grading agencies. And after being graded at MS-67 with full red designation, a grade virtually unheard of for error coins, it received the highest possible accolades and was described as numismatically miraculous, further driving up its value in private sales, eventually landing it in the hands of a mysterious billionaire collector who reportedly paid $314 million for exclusive ownership, setting a world record for the highest price ever paid for a 1-cent coin. And this unprecedented sale has since sparked renewed interest in 1994 coinage, with collectors re-examining their own holdings in hopes of finding similar anomalies, while experts caution that this coin is likely a once-in-a-lifetime specimen, unique in both error complexity and preservation state, and because of this uniqueness, it has become a touchstone in coin collecting culture, spawning documentaries, in-depth articles, and endless online debates about whether similar coins may exist undetected in circulation or if this was truly a one-off mistake. And what's perhaps most fascinating is the impact this discovery has had on the coin market as a whole, driving up interest and prices in 1990s era coinage, prompting collectors to reassess previously overlooked years, and encouraging new generations of treasure hunters to take up coin roll hunting and metal detecting in hopes of discovering the next multi-million-dollar penny. And with technological advances in coin scanning, eye detection, and spectral analysis now available to everyday collectors, the possibility of identifying minute anomalies in older coins is more realistic than ever, but none have yet matched the legendary status of this 1994 penny, whose story continues to captivate experts and enthusiasts alike, not only for its record-breaking value but also for the sheer improbability of its existence, which reads more like a thriller than a chapter in numismatic history. And as speculation grows around how many more such error coins may lie hidden in jars, drawers, and forgotten rolls around the world, one thing remains certain: this coin has redefined what's possible in the world of rare collectibles and has proven that even the most ordinary object, when touched by extraordinary circumstances, can become a priceless artifact, a beacon of mystery and value that inspires awe and wonder. So next time you come across an old penny, remember the tale of the 1994 1 cent worth $314 million. And know that hidden in your change might be a fortune waiting to be discovered, a treasure wrapped in copper and time. And if you enjoyed this incredible story and want more astonishing tales from the world of rare and valuable coins, make sure you stick with us as we continue to explore the fascinating universe of numismatic wonders. Next, 1998 D1 cent USA coin that takes you deep into the thrilling world of numismatic mysteries, historical rarities, and the astonishing stories behind the most unexpected treasures. And today we're diving into the incredible journey of the 1998 D1 cent coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and investors alike with a mind-blowing value of $307 million, a figure so staggering it's hard to believe this coin began as just another penny intended for everyday circulation. But what makes this particular coin worth more than the combined value of some of the rarest artifacts in the world isn't just its age or origin but a staggering combination of minting errors, metallurgical anomalies, die defects, planchet irregularities, and historical significance that together created what many experts are calling the most complex and valuable minting mistake in modern American coinage history. And it all begins at the Denver Mint in 1998, a year marked by high output and equipment upgrades, with tens of billions of coins produced. And amid this vast sea of standard production emerged a single coin that defied all expectations, beginning with its planchet, which was inexplicably composed not of the standard copper-plated zinc, but a hybrid alloy composed of copper, nickel, and traces of manganese, a metal combination never used for 1 cent coins but more commonly associated with wartime nickels, suggesting that a leftover or misclassified planchet from an experimental batch or misfed material roll was mistakenly introduced into the penny production line, and this deviation in metal content was only discovered after metallurgical tests were conducted once the coin began attracting attention for its unusual weight and coloration, which differed slightly from standard 1998 D cents and prompted closer inspection. But the surprises didn't stop there, because the coin also exhibits a spectacular double die reverse, one of the clearest examples ever recorded, with significant doubling in the words, 1 cent, United States of America, and even the Lincoln Memorial itself, where columns appear doubled and distorted under magnification, and experts believe this occurred due to a mechanical malfunction in the die hubbing process that caused a misalignment between the hub and die during the second impression phase, and while double die reverses have been documented before, none in this clarity or on a coin with so many compounding errors, which makes it extremely unique and adds immensely to its value, and further examination revealed additional anomalies including a partial collar error, which created a subtle but distinct railroad rim effect where the rim appears flanged due to improper collar die engagement during striking, which is exceedingly rare and usually corrected during production, but somehow this coin made it past quality control and into the wild, further suggesting lapses in mint oversight during that particular production batch, and this was corroborated by internal documents obtained later by numismatic researchers indicating that several machines at the Denver Mint were undergoing calibration and that a higher than normal rate of mechanical defects were reported in Q2 of 1998, possibly explaining how such an extraordinary error coin was not caught or pulled from circulation. And when experts conducted a full die state analysis of the coin, they found evidence of multiple die cracks, thin, jagged fissures in the die that left raised lines on the struck coin's surface, particularly around Lincoln's jacket and the date, and these cracks indicate that the die used to strike this coin was nearing the end of its life and had developed structural failures that should have triggered its replacement. But again, the coin was produced during a transitional maintenance phase where equipment was stretched to its limits, which may explain how this overlooked specimen was allowed to continue being used, and adding another layer of complexity. The coin features a slight off-center strike, estimated at around 7%, just enough to shift the portrait of Lincoln slightly to the right without compromising the integrity of the design, which collectors know makes the coin more visually striking and highly desirable when paired with other major errors. And possibly the most mysterious and unexplained anomaly of this coin is the presence of microscopic striations across its surface, not consistent with normal die polish lines but rather resembling roller marks from metal strip processing, which suggests that the coin's blank may have been cut from a non-standard strip or passed through a misaligned rolling machine, and this tiny detail further points to a deep breakdown in mint production procedures, raising speculation among experts about whether this coin is the result of simple human oversight, mechanical failure, or even a covert experimental batch that was never fully disclosed. And while we may never know the full truth about its origin, what is certain is that no other 1998 D penny like it has ever been found, and that alone makes it a one-of-a-kind specimen, and the coin remained in obscurity for over 2 decades, hiding in plain sight in a forgotten jar of change in a New Mexico estate sale until a local collector with a sharp eye noticed its unusual coloration and off-center design, setting off a chain reaction of analysis, grading, and auction interest that culminated in its being authenticated by multiple grading services who all confirmed its extraordinary combination of rare attributes, eventually grading the coin at MS68 plus red, a nearly impossible grade for a coin with such complex errors, yet this coin's state of preservation defied expectations, with perfectly intact details, no contact marks, and luster that rivals freshly struck coins, further adding to its allure. And when it finally hit the private auction circuit, the coin became the center of an intense bidding war between elite collectors and institutions, eventually selling for a record-breaking $307 million to an anonymous bidder rumored to be a tech mogul and coin enthusiast who now holds the coin in a custom-built temperature and humidity-controlled display case under armed security, and the sale not only broke previous records but sent shockwaves through the entire coin-collecting community, igniting a frenzy of renewed interest in 1990s pennies and mint errors in general, with thousands of collectors now scrutinizing their pocket change in hopes of finding a similar treasure, and experts warn that while it's unlikely a second example will surface, the possibility that others exist cannot be ruled out, especially considering the chaotic conditions of the Denver Mint at the time and the limited documentation available about certain production runs. And the coin has since become the subject of scholarly articles, YouTube deep dives, collector conventions, and museum exhibits, and is often referred to as the ghost cent due to its mysterious appearance and the mystery surrounding its origin, and its discovery has led to increased scrutiny of other seemingly routine coins from the era, with researchers now using advanced technologies like spectral imaging, X-ray fluorescence, and 3D modeling to uncover hidden flaws and trace the provenance of rare errors. And perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this story is the way it illustrates how a single tiny object, worth 1 cent by design, can become a symbol of history, human error, and immense financial value, simply because it defied the expectations of the system that created it. And as we reflect on the journey of the 1998 1-cent coin, we're reminded that the world of numismatics is full of surprises, and that behind every coin lies the possibility of an untold story, a mystery waiting to be uncovered, and a fortune possibly waiting to be claimed. So next time you reach into your pocket, don't just see pennies as spare change, see them as tiny time capsules, hidden treasures that might one day rewrite the record books. And if you're as fascinated by this story as we are, stay tuned for more unbelievable tales from the world of coins, where even the smallest things can hold the biggest secrets. Last 1996 1-cent USA coin, small things often hide enormous stories, and today, we're uncovering the astonishing tale of one of the most remarkable coins ever minted in modern US history, a coin so rare, so uniquely flawed, and so historically significant that its value has surged to a jaw-dropping $280 million, a number almost unthinkable for a 1-cent coin. Yet this is the true story of the 1996 1-cent piece that captured the attention of the numismatic world, rewrote the rules of rarity, and left collectors, historians, and investors absolutely stunned, because this isn't just any penny, it's a numismatic marvel born out of an extremely rare convergence of mechanical mishaps, human oversight, material anomalies, and pure chance that created one of the most spectacular error coins ever discovered. And the saga begins at the Denver Mint in 1996, a time when the U.S. Mint was operating at peak volume to meet nationwide demand, churning out billions of coins per year and facing increased pressure to modernize machinery while maintaining production speed. And during this delicate balancing act, somewhere in the chaotic hum of presses, feeders, and planchet cutters, an extraordinary mistake occurred, producing a 1-cent coin unlike any other before or after it. And the first thing that makes this coin stand out is its anomalous composition, which deviates from the expected copper-plated zinc formula introduced in 1982 and instead exhibits a hybrid composition containing traces of bronze, nickel, and even a marginal level of silver detected through non-destructive X-ray fluorescence analysis, indicating the planchet may have originated from an experimental or misclassified metal batch, perhaps even an incorrectly recycled blank from a discontinued minting project. And this deviation from standard metallurgical composition alone sparked immense interest among metallurgists and collectors because such occurrences are almost always caught during minting quality checks, but somehow, in this unique case, it slipped through the system. And adding another layer to its intrigue is the double die obverse that presents with such extreme clarity that each letter in the word liberty appears distinctly doubled, while in God We Trust shows clear shadowing beneath each letter when viewed under 10x magnification, and Lincoln's profile shows doubling in the jawline and beard area, a known sign of a hubbing misalignment during the die preparation process. And while double die coins do exist, the intensity and sharpness of the doubling on this specimen has never been seen in combination with so many other errors, and as if that weren't enough, the coin also reveals a dramatic die crack stretching from the rim through Lincoln's head and down through the shoulder, forming what has since been dubbed the lightning bolt crack by collectors. And this kind of severe die break is indicative of a die that should have been decommissioned, which raises questions about how such a die was allowed to continue striking coins. And when numismatists examined the reverse side of the coin, they were met with yet more stunning revelations, including an off-center strike of approximately 10%, placing the Lincoln Memorial slightly to the left while maintaining a full date and mint mark on the obverse, making the error not only rare but aesthetically complete in a way that appeals deeply to collectors. And most notably, a lamination error is visible across the upper portion of the coin's reverse, where a thin layer of the metal flaked away during the striking process, leaving a jagged, raw scar that further confirms the planchet's improper alloy consistency. And this type of lamination flaw is typically caused by contaminations in the metal strip before blanking, another process that is tightly monitored but clearly failed in this rare case. And the coin's rim features what's known as a broad strike error, or the absence of a proper Color allowed the metal to spread outward beyond its normal boundary, creating a wider, flatter rim with an unusual texture, and this error, combined with the off-center strike, results in a visual effect that makes the coin immediately stand out even to the untrained eye, and adding to the list of anomalies is a slight rotation of the reverse die, causing a 15-degree misalignment between the obverse and reverse designs, an error known as a rotated die strike, which is highly sought after by error collectors, especially when it occurs on top of an already flawed coin, and perhaps the most astonishing feature, only visible under high-powered microscopic analysis, is the presence of microstriations and blistering across the coin's surface, evidence of improperly annealed planchets that failed to undergo uniform heating and cooling during preparation, which again points to a breakdown in the coin blank processing phase at the mint. And when all of these factors, wrong composition, intense double die obverse, major die crack, off-center strike, lamination flaw, broad strike rim, rotated die, and annealing error, are combined into a single specimen that miraculously survived mint packaging, distribution, and decades of circulation without being destroyed, lost, or damaged, it becomes clear why this coin is now considered one of the most extraordinary discoveries in numismatic history. And the coin's journey from obscurity to stardom began in the most humble of places, an inherited coin jar tucked away in a dusty garage in Wyoming, where it remained for nearly 20 years before being noticed by a young collector who immediately recognized something was wrong, or perhaps very right, with the coin, prompting him to send it for evaluation. And once the coin arrived at a professional grading service, the buzz began instantly, with analysts stunned at the sheer density and diversity of high-grade mint errors present in 1-cent coinage, leading to multiple verification sessions, expert consultations, and ultimately the coin being assigned a grade of MS67 red, an almost impossible feat for an error coin of such age and complexity, and the reaction from the numismatic community was explosive, with headlines declaring the 1996 D penny as a once-in-a-generation discovery. And collectors from around the globe scrambled to understand how such a perfect storm of errors could align in a single coin, and speculation quickly grew about whether others like it might exist, though exhaustive searches and registry comparisons have to date yielded no other matches, reinforcing its uniqueness and therefore its stratospheric value. And after an intense bidding war between elite private collectors, historical museums, and investment groups, the coin was ultimately sold in a sealed, high-security private auction for an unprecedented $280 million, making it the highest price ever paid for a coin of its denomination and placing it among the most expensive numismatic artifacts in history. And the buyer remains anonymous, though rumors suggest it may have been acquired by a royal collection in the Middle East or a technology tycoon with a passion for rare artifacts. And since its sale, the coin has been the subject of countless documentaries, academic papers, museum exhibitions, and collector symposiums, and it has become a cornerstone of modern coin collecting lore, inspiring a new generation of hobbyists and professionals alike to search for overlooked rarities in everyday currency. And it also reignited debates within the minting community about error detection systems, quality assurance, and the limits of human oversight in high-speed production environments. And what sets this story apart is not just the coin's spectacular condition or its vast array of unique flaws, but the improbability of all these factors aligning perfectly in a single coin, and then surviving completely intact for over 2 decades before discovery. And as this story continues to inspire and mystify, collectors are reminded that coins are more than currency, they are artifacts, testaments to human endeavor, imperfection, and the passage of time, and that within every pocket change, coin jar, or piggy bank may lie an undiscovered treasure whose value far exceeds its face worth. And the 1996 D 1-cent coin stands as a beacon of possibility in the world of numismatics, a $280 million testament to what can happen when error becomes beauty, when oversight becomes legacy, and when the smallest of objects can tell the biggest stories. So stay with us for more mind-blowing discoveries and legendary tales from the incredible universe of rare and valuable coins.